Picture this. You open your eyes before your alarm goes off, which used to feel like a small victory. Then you reach for your phone, and before you've even said good morning to anyone, you check your score. 62. Recovery. Low. And just like that, something shifts. Your body feels roughly the same as it did 5 seconds ago, but your morning has been quietly recalibrated. You start scanning for evidence. Was that the wine at dinner? The late meeting? You mentally lower the ceiling on what today is allowed to be, based entirely on a number that arrived before you'd even stood up. You did everything right last night. You wore the ring, followed the routine, went to bed at a reasonable hour. And the device you bought to help you sleep better has just spent the first 90 seconds of your day making you feel worse. This is where the question creeps in. Am I actually sleeping badly? Or has something about tracking my sleep made me worse at trusting it? I want to take that seriously today, because the honest answer says something uncomfortable about the relationship between measurement and well-being, and it applies to a lot more than sleep. If you're new here, I'm Antoine, and this channel exists to take the biology of performance as seriously as you take everything else you've optimized. If today's video is useful, staying subscribed means you'll catch where this goes next. Here's the sentence I want you to hold on to, because it reframes almost everything else in this video. Your tracker measures movement and heart rate variability. Your brain measures its own safety through an entirely different, mostly invisible currency. Those are two very different jobs, and only one of them is actually being reported to you on that screen. Let's put a number on what that gap has already cost you, because it's easy to treat one bad morning as an isolated event. Say checking your score costs you, conservatively, 3 minutes of rumination each morning. Turning the number over, cross-referencing it against how you actually feel, deciding whether to trust your body or the app. 3 minutes feels almost too small to mention. It barely registers as a cost. Now compound it. 3 minutes a day, every day, for a year, is over 18 hours spent litigating a number against your own lived experience. Do that for 5 years, and you've spent nearly 4 full days of your life negotiating with a screen about whether you're allowed to feel rested. And that's just the time. It doesn't count the mornings the number won the argument, when you felt perfectly fine and decided, on the app's authority, that you probably weren't. Researchers at Rush University, led by Kelly Barron, coined a term for this pattern: orthosomnia, a preoccupation with achieving perfect sleep data that becomes its own source of sleep disruption. In their case studies, patients showed measurable anxiety about their tracker scores even when clinical-grade polysomnography, the actual gold standard sleep test, wires and all, confirmed they'd slept perfectly normally. The device didn't just fail to help. In some cases, it manufactured the very problem it was bought to solve. The damage was never really about bad sleep. It was about a number quietly replacing your own judgment as the final word on how you felt. Now you might be thinking, but surely a low score means something. Isn't ignoring it just denial? That's completely fair, and it's exactly why this needs to be handled carefully rather than dismissed. A tracker isn't useless. It's just answering a narrower question than most people assume, and treating a narrow answer as a complete verdict is where the trouble starts. Michael Granner, who directs the Sleep and Health Research Program at the University of Arizona, has made a point that's easy to miss. A recovery score is a proxy for physiological signals, not a direct read of sleep architecture, and definitely not a read of how your day is going to go. Proxies are useful. They are not verdicts. So here's how to actually use the data without letting it use you. Step 1 is delay. Don't check the score in the first 5 minutes of being awake. Give your own body a chance to report in first. How does your energy actually feel, unprompted, before a number tells you what to expect? This single change interrupts the automatic handoff of authority from your body to your phone. Step 2 is cross-reference. Don't substitute. When you do look, treat the score as one data point sitting alongside how you actually feel, not as the deciding vote. If you feel clear and energized and the score says otherwise, that's worth noticing, not obeying. Step 3 is the 2-week pattern rule. A single low reading, on its own, tells you almost nothing actionable. What matters is the trend across 2 weeks. A real sustained dip is meaningful. One outlier morning is noise, and treating noise as signal is precisely how orthosomnia takes hold. None of these 3 steps requires throwing the device away. This isn't about rejecting the data. It's about restoring the correct hierarchy. Your own felt experience first, the number as a supporting witness, not the judge. Here's a way to picture what's actually happening, and it has nothing to do with sleep at all. Imagine driving a car where the speedometer is occasionally off by 10 miles an hour in either direction, but you've stopped trusting your own sense of how fast you're going and started obeying the dial completely. Accelerating when it says you're too slow. Panicking when it says you're too fast, regardless of what the road actually feels like beneath you. The instrument was supposed to support your judgment. Somewhere along the way, it replaced it. That's exactly the shift that happens the first time you let a recovery score override how rested you actually feel walking into your day. So, to recap, delay the check by 5 minutes and let your own body report first. Cross-reference the number against how you feel instead of substituting one for the other, and judge yourself on the 2-week pattern, not the single outlier morning. There's a distinction worth sitting with here, and it shows up almost everywhere people try to optimize themselves into the ground. Measurement was supposed to serve your judgment. It's very easy, without noticing, to end up serving the measurement instead, trading a felt sense of your own body for a number that was only ever meant to support it. If you want a framework that treats the tracker as one input rather than the whole verdict, one built around what your evening actually did to your nervous system, not just what your ring reports the next morning, that's what the 15-minute sleep shift walks you through. 5minutesleepshift.com. Tell me honestly in the comments, when you wake up, what do you check first? The number or how you actually feel? Most people already know the answer, and most people don't like it. You did everything right last night. The number just hasn't caught up to that yet.